I'll be taking in some ACC basketball tonight. A UNC Duke matchup in Charlotte should be a good time. And this is your morning Buzzcast for Friday, March 14th. I'm Abe Madcore. Let's start with the Olympics and NBC. They have been good together for so many years, and you will continue to see that relationship for another decade as Comcast and NBC Universal secured U.S. media rights to the Olympics through 2036 with a $3 billion deal. Now, this deal just further solidifies NBC's long-standing partnership with the IOC. The current deal was set to expire after the 2032 games. So now NBC has locked-in rights to cover another domestic games, yes, the Winter Games in Salt Lake City in 2034, and then the 2036 Summer Games 2 years later at a venue yet to be determined. But we know how important the Olympics have been for Comcast. It's a huge driver of their business across so many lines, and it's very much a prestige play. We know the value of live sports, and we know how companies are locking up more and more sports rights to drive their streaming platforms, which NBC has certainly done and will certainly do more with Peacock. So this keeps the Olympics in the Comcast family and doesn't open it up for any competitor, and it's just smart business. And NBC Universal has broadcast every Winter Olympics dating back to 2002 and every Summer Olympics dating back to 1988. So this is a long-standing, healthy relationship. And for the IOC, it locks in more revenue and gives it further financial stability in the final days of the presidency of Thomas Bach. Remember, the IOC is set to elect a new president, a successor to Thomas Bach, during its session in Greece in just 1 week's time. So we'll have a lot of Olympic news over the next week. Let's move on and talk some baseball. What is next for the Tampa Bay Rays? It is very fair to say the future of that franchise is in question as the team's plans to build a new ballpark and mixed-use district in St. Petersburg were pronounced dead on Thursday. The Rays, they said they were not comfortable moving forward with the ballpark and the development plan. They had a deadline of the end of this month to decide whether to proceed on a deal that took years to reach. We noted earlier in the week there is a lot of uncertainty around the team, and there are two separate groups interested in buying the Rays from owner Stu Sternberg. But he has not publicly said he's interested to sell the team. Now, this latest action, though, will increase pressure on him to sell. The team's current agreement with St. Petersburg expires in a few years, but we will see a resolution before that. And it's just hard to believe that on the Buzzcast last July, we talked about this historic deal between the Rays, the city, and the county. The future looks secure. But you know what changed it? Hurricane Milton. Yes, it changed everything. It tore the roof off Tropicana Field. It moved the team to a different facility. It caused a number of delays in the county's vote to approve the funding of the July deal. And once that deal was delayed, it pushed it back and back and back, and all bets were off. And you can hear it in the emotion from local officials in Florida. St. Petersburg Mayor Ken Welch, he basically said he has no interest in working with the Sternberg ownership group. He said bridges have been burned, and so it's so hard to see how this comes to any resolution anytime soon. Major League Baseball, it said it's committed, of course, to finding a permanent home for the Rays in the Tampa region. But again, so much uncertainty. We'll have to see how this plays out over the next few days. But right now, more pressure will build on Stu Sternberg to sell the team if they can't find a long-term ballpark solution. Staying with baseball, there's a lot of college hoops this weekend. I get it, but do not overlook the significance of what is happening in Japan. The Dodgers will play exhibition games against Japanese teams. They'll also play 2 regular season games against the Cubs next week. They'll be at the Tokyo Dome, 55,000 seats, complete sellout. Some tickets going for as much as $20,000 on the secondary market. The games will also be shown at more than 150 movie theaters around Japan. They have more than 20 major sponsors who have signed up to support this week and this event. There's already a special exhibit of the Dodgers and their history and their memorabilia in Tokyo. It's called the Dodgers Experience. So the bottom line is, I don't think any of us fully understand how big the Dodgers brand is in Japan, and especially around Shohei Ohtani. It has been such a huge business and cultural driver for that franchise. And it's fair to say the Dodgers will become the favorite baseball team for a generation of young people in that country. And don't forget what a boost this is for baseball as a whole. It's not just about Shohei. There are 5 Japanese stars appearing in the Cubs-Dodgers series next week in Japan. So again, amazing for the game of baseball, amazing for the Dodgers. Bottom line, baseball is incredibly popular and hot in Japan. Staying with baseball, the connected MLB writer Bob Nightingale noted early season ticket sales from StubHub. Here's what he showed. The top 10 teams with the biggest demand for tickets, once again, the Dodgers were 1, the Red Sox were 2, the Yankees were 3, the Braves were 4, the Phillies were 5. Number 6 were the Mets, and Mets ticket sales have tripled from a year ago in terms of interest on StubHub. Nightingale also notes that ticket sales for the A's are 12 times greater than a year ago at this time. Of course, the A's will be playing in Sacramento, and I've said it before, Sacramento will be sneaky successful as a host of the A's. Staying with baseball, but minor league baseball, one of the most successful minor league baseball teams in history, the Dayton Dragons, have been acquired by Diamond Baseball Holdings. They will add it to its stable of more than 40 minor league baseball teams. I believe they have 42 now. The Dragons were owned by Palisades Arcadia Baseball. The Dragons will remain in Dayton. They're a Reds High A affiliate. The existing front office will still operate the club. The Dayton Dragons are an amazing story. Here's why. 25 years in Dayton. In the last 25 years, the team has sold out every one of its home games, more than 1,500 home games. It's the longest sellout streak in North American pro sports history. Amazing. Their average attendance of more than 8,000 fans in 2024, that was the 3rd highest in minor league baseball, and they play in high Class A. We're not talking about Double A. We're not talking about Triple A baseball. They draw more than 500,000 fans a year. That is the 4th most in minor league baseball, and they play fewer games. They only play 66 games. Triple A teams play 75 games. So what they've been able to do in Dayton has been amazing. It's a great baseball town. It's a very successful and strong operated organization. Now it's joining Diamond Baseball Holdings, but don't ever sleep on the Dayton Dragons. While we always talk about growth sports on the Buzzcast, here's one. Major League Table Tennis. Yes, Major League Table Tennis is expanding. 2 new teams, New York Slice, Atlanta Blazers. They will join this league ahead of its 3rd season, which will start in September. Did you know Major League Table Tennis has 10 teams? There was no valuation placed on these 2 new teams, but this does mark continued growth for Major League Table Tennis. In the last few months, it has signed a media rights deal with CBS Sports. It's on YouTube as well. And the league closed a $5.5 million fundraise that included well-known investors David Blitzer and Daryl Morey. So they have both invested in Major League Table Tennis, which has expanded by 2 teams before the start of its next season in September. And finally, we'll end the Buzzcast today. We will certainly miss John Feinstein, who died on Thursday at the age of 69. Way too young, way too sudden. The cause of his death was not clear. He had filed a column the day before his death on Michigan State men's basketball coach Tom Izzo. Feinstein, he joined the Washington Post in 1977 as a night police reporter. He was hired by Ben Bradley, and then managing sports editor George Solomon brought him over to the sports desk. He was part of a staff that included Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon, Thomas Boswell, Sally Jenkins. What a group. Feinstein went on to write more than 40 books. You've surely heard his voice on NPR, seen him on ESPN and the Golf Channel. I remember reading his book, A Season on the Brink, about Bobby Knight. I probably read that 3 times when I was in college at the University of Vermont. I read A Good Walk Spoiled in 1995 on pro golf. He also wrote so many other great books. He was an incredible talent. He influenced the thoughts and minds of so many sports fans. He really was a true aficionado across multiple sports. He could write about everything, and he observed the most minute details and described them in such interesting ways. John Feinstein, an incredible talent. I'll just say we lost a great one yesterday. So John Feinstein, gone at the too young age of 69. Certainly, if you have your fond memories of John, please share them with me. I'd love to hear them. And so that is your morning Buzzcast for Friday, March 14th. I'm Abe Madcore. Stay healthy. Be good to each other. I'll speak to you on Monday.